Hello, hello. Welcome. It's Bonnie with Aloha in the Garden. I wanted to jump in here and share a few things that I'm doing this afternoon. It is an absolutely gorgeous day. This is the last week in February, and we really seem to have lost the rain that we had a few weeks ago, but everything is still growing and looking really well because of the cooler evenings. So I have found that if I start seeds for the garden at this time of year, it is a better success rate when the plants get growing. It's not as stressful with the heat and the humidity and different things. So this is a great time if you're in Hawaii or other tropical locations to start seeds. Actually, you probably could have started them at the beginning of this month, end of January. So things like peppers and tomatoes, they won't fruit earlier, but they will get really solid growth, particularly in their roots, so that when the heat of summer comes, they have a really strong root structure. So I'm under a little palm tree here, so if you hear that, that's what's going on. All right, so I have some seed packets here. As you know, I volunteer at the Urban Garden Center in Pearl City, and I work in the All-America seed selection area. And so I'm going to be starting some seeds here at home so I can keep an eye on them while they're growing, and as they get larger and get large enough to be put out into the garden, I will take them with me. So remote gardening, meaning gardening where you only go perhaps only once a week or twice a week, is difficult enough without having to add on getting seeds started that way as well. I did it with the corn. Corn likes to be direct sown, and they were pretty good. And if you watched my other live, I showed you how I hid the seeds under some leaves to keep the birds, those cardinals, away from eating them up before they even sprouted. So what I have here now, unfortunately, tomatoes, they're always a popular vegetable that people want to grow in the garden. It actually can be kind of tricky to get good sized tomatoes, easily grown, without a lot of fuss and muss. So I chose something that is going to be a little bit easier, and this is the Patio Choice Yellow. It's the 2017 All-America Seed Selection National winner, and it's a determinate cherry tomato, perfect for containers. They are yellow, golden yellow, and it says that each plant should have, let's see, okay, it doesn't tell me the size. That was another one. So I've got that yellow cherry tomato. So cherry tomatoes seem to be a whole lot easier to grow. And then here's the one. This is a 2019, another little tomato called the Firefly. It's indeterminate. So the first one was compact determinate, meaning it will grow quickly. It will have a burst of fruiting all at once, and then it's done. The plants tend to be more compact. This is good for if you want to do canning. So you would have all your fruit harvested within a short period of time, and then the plant is done. Indeterminate, they get leggy and they grow on and on and on, and sometimes they look really scraggly, but you have a more steady, slow-going harvest over a long period of time. So very different growth habits between the determinate tomato and an indeterminate tomato. So this one is an indeterminate. It does require staking, but this one is also yellow, but this one is pale yellow white, and the fruit, the tomatoes, are only going to be 3/4 to 1 inch big, and it says each plant yields approximately 500 of them. But what I also like to see is good resistance to disease. As you know, in tropical locations, you don't get that deep cold snap to kill off pests, insects, and disease. And so they just seem to thrive all the time. So tomatoes, helping you to have more successful tomatoes is look for easy to grow varieties like cherry tomatoes, the smaller tomatoes, and also look for their disease resistant fusarium wilt, nematodes, etc. So those are things to help you be successful with your tomatoes. So I'm also planting a pepper. This is a 2021 All-America Seed Selection Regional winner, and it's called the Patapeño. Compact plants, and it says that not only can you grow them in containers, they're ideal for hanging plants, or rather hanging baskets. So that would be interesting to have a hanging basket with peppers, and you could grow it, you could grow it on your balcony if you were in a townhome or an apartment. Even perhaps planting them if your front doorway got a lot of sun, because peppers do like full sun, is to hang it right by your entry doorway. That would be a lot of fun. So it says it's 45 days to harvest green fruit, and another 20 days to get red fruit. So you have a long period of 20 days where you could harvest these peppers, depending on how you want them, from green to fully red. So those should be interesting. So I wanted to get some peppers growing out at the garden center because we haven't had any successful peppers in there for a while. And like I said, now's a good time to get peppers started for summer growing. And a lot of times pepper plants here in Hawaii will grow and grow and grow. So we'll see how long we can keep these peppers growing and harvesting. And I picked up some things here. So, of course, you have your big box stores. I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see the beautiful garden while I talk about. So, I have some orchids blooming, and it's just a really nice day. You can look at that instead of looking at me. So, you have your big box stores that sell gardening, soil and amendments and different things. And then Costco and Sam's will bring in during the springtime. They'll bring in gardening items, soil, etc. But another option besides specifically a growing center, you may want to ask around in your area about places that supply landscapers and other gardening places. Oftentimes you can go and get what they sell to professionals, but you'll have to check and see what are the requirements. If you feel like the bags are too big for you, then I'm sure you can find a gardening friend to split those bags up with you. So that's what I did. There's a place here on the west side of Oahu that has all sorts of different things, and they supply nurseries and other landscape gardeners. They're very friendly. I found them to be very friendly. If you go someplace and they don't want to take the time to explain everything that they have, just ask if they have a sales sheet, and then take that home and look up those items for yourself. Why do I like it? Well, for one thing, you get premium products, number one. Number two, the products are specific, meaning a lot of them are only one ingredient. They're not all blended up. So you can get just a giant bag of perlite. You could get, like I saw today, there was nice large bags of steer manure. You can also get items with just chicken manure that's already ready as a fertilizer. And then there's different growing mediums that they have. So that's another option in your garden when you're getting ready to grow seedlings out. If you feel like you're not getting success from what you're getting at the big box stores or at your local place, or if they're out, a lot of places run out. I know last year they ran out. I think some places now are really limiting how much that you can purchase because they're already running low. So that's another option for you. So what did I get? Well, I got 3 things. Let me see. This bottom here, it's called Professional Growing Mix. It's called a Sunshine Mix. And it's just a good potting mix. I've used it before. What's nice about it is it is just that. It is just a potting mix, and it's a nice blend, and it doesn't come with added nutrients like fertilizer, beads, etc. So depending on what you're growing, you add what you need. And then the next thing I got is an all-purpose organic fertilizer, and basically this is chicken manure. And then this up here is a compost. I described what I needed, and she recommended this. So I said, well, let me try this. It's premium natural compost. And I said what I wanted to do was I needed to top dress some pots, large pots that I'm not going to repot the plant in there, but the soil is a little depleted, and I don't want to keep adding fertilizer. Although I've been doing a fish emulsion spray on them, I can see they're all in general looking a little tired from the tired soil. So I'm going to top dress them with this, and we'll see how that does. And like I said, the chicken manure, really like that for vegetables and different things. So I'll be taking some down to the garden, and I'll definitely be putting a bunch of it in my home garden here. And then the Sunshine Grow Mix for seed starting. So if you're trying to start seeds and they're not sprouting very well, then it could very well be your mix. It could also be that there's too much fertilizer. They just need a burst to sprout, to germinate. And then after that, if you give them too much, then surprisingly they won't grow faster. You need just the right amount, and they really don't need much. So if you have those little grow packs and you fill it with a seed starting mix, guess how much fertilizer you should be adding to that? A good, just, general all-purpose fertilizer. 1 of those little balls of fertilizer. That's it, just 1. I went to a lecture talking about seed starting, and they had done, it was through the Master Gardeners program. So it was a technical, it was a field trial, but we had gone out, you had to go out to the field, and it was a technical talk. But the bottom line was that you could see all the results of the experimentation that they had done. And yeah, the bottom line was just put 1 of those little, the little balls of the fertilizer, and they had used different types of fertilizer and different things. So that was it. So I thought that only putting, a small pinch, which ended up being probably 5 or 6 per little container, I thought I was being, prudent by adding that much, and I thought, my goodness, I'm adding way, way, way too much. So the next time I used those grow packs and added the thing, I put in only 1. I had a much better success rate. Yeah, it was a significantly better success rate. So it really is important to have just enough and not too much. So the growing mixes that already have fertilizer in there are not the right type of growing mix for seed starting. So try to get something that is plain vanilla. It doesn't have any additional, you know, guaranteed to grow for 3 months or whatever. Just get a plain Jane one and add your own fertilizer, a general starting fertilizer, and just put one little ball of fertilizer in there and see if you don't have a better success rate to your seed sprouting. So that's what I'm going to be starting on today. I've got the peppers, the tomatoes, and I think I have some more varieties of peppers inside that I haven't gotten to, and I do have some flower seeds that I have been remiss in getting started. So I'm going to get started on that. And if you have any questions about seed starting or anything else that I'm talking about, or maybe you have questions about something that I haven't covered and you want to learn more about, you want to see more about, please ask me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you folks become better gardeners, and I want you to do it in the least stressful way possible. If you want to come and join me on my YouTube channel, it's Aloha in the Garden, and I'll be adding more how-to videos over there. They take a little bit longer to do the editing, but they will be longer and more specific topics and teaching you guys how to do different things. But other than that, I hope you folks have a wonderful day.